We have breaking news. The 49ers have just agreed to acquire Chase Young from the Washington Commanders. That's via Jay Glazer, who's pretty tight with Shanahan and John Lynch and team at the Niners. Congrats to them picking up another weapon for that defense and that defensive line. They're on a 3-game skid. Okay? No Trent Williams, no Deebo Samuel. Their offense has certainly looked different. Joey Burrow went in and sliced and diced that Niners defense, so much so that we're celebrating that Joe Burrow and the Bengals are back. Now John Lynch says, you think we're spending money all over this roster to have a 3-game slid and sit in 4th or 5th in the NFC? Absolutely not. Let's go get better. They bring in Chase Young. Nice rotation, keep him fresh. He's not going to be expected to play every single down. This is good news for the former, what overall number pick?
2.
Second overall pick, AJ. This is good for the Niners. Great for Chase, too. And the Commanders seemingly punting this season. We'll see you next year.
Yeah, I instantly, whenever I see guys like this get traded, I think of the player. I'm like, man, this guy goes from a team the Commanders aren't. They're pretty good, solid. They're a solid football team, though. They're not terrible by any means, but to go to San Francisco for a guy like Chase, it's going to, I would imagine that change of scenery is going to be awesome for him, getting out there in that culture and what they normally do. Obviously, as of late, they haven't played like they normally have, but they're going to be awesome.
The compensation there is a 3rd rounder. I believe Chase's contract is up, just like Sweat's contract was up whenever he got traded to Chicago earlier today. The Bears were utilizing this trade as a future free agency signing. Basically, they have $110 million going into next season in salary cap space. They'll be able to sign Sweat to a long-term deal. He's going to be a part of the build back is how they viewed it. Now here with the Niners, with Chase Young, a 3rd-round pick going the other way. I wonder what the deal looks like, and if it is just let's see how you are here for the rest of the season.
They also picked up Randy Gregory when the Broncos let him go. So now they have.
What was that, last week?
A couple weeks ago.
2.
He's had a couple.
So now they have Bosa, they have Randy Gregory, Cleveland Farrell, who came over from the Raiders, who was a high pick, I think is their other starter. So I think Chase is, I think, going to be the starter opposite of Bosa if I had to take a guess.
So Bosa, once he gets going, which we all assume is going to happen,
Couple number 2 overall picks.
all of a sudden now, that deep Fred Warner, Hufanga,
Eric Armstead.
all of a sudden it's back to being the team that's feared, right, D-Buck?
It should be. And I said it yesterday, I think. Like, that was my biggest concern with this team. Obviously, Brock Purdy turning the ball over, but defensively they just haven't been, that same scary unit that we're accustomed to seeing. The Vikings did their thing on them, and now the Bengals. So you start with defense, it always starts in the trenches. So you remember the Eagles last year with that front that they had with guys just rotating in and out, and now the Niners pretty much recreating that.
How about if you have more talent that can pass rush, AJ, you can get one-on-ones. And once you get one-on-ones, then you can sit back in coverage a little bit. It kind of all helps. Adding depth at the D-line and that pass rusher, always going to make your team better. Now, obviously, Chase is going to have to play well, but this is a move that you know is going to immediately make your team better, seemingly.
Yeah, and just think of those. I mean, Bosa on one edge, Chase Young on the other, all the other talent they have. They can move them around. Like, you could have the craziest 3rd down package whenever, like, if you want to stand them up, just line up Chase Young and Bosa stand in the A gap like they're mug linebackers or something. That might cause a few issues for people.
A little double barrel with the 2 boys out there. Go ahead, Con, man.
Do you think on Sunday, Ron Rivera's going to be like, where are Sweat and Chase Young today? They haven't played well at all. And then someone has to tell them, like, hey, they're not on the team anymore, actually.
What? When? Who? Somebody going to tell me? Or
wait, Chase Young got traded?
Coach Rivera is watching these things happen, by the way, because this was being talked about. Like, look for at least one of the studs on the Commanders D-line to get traded. And Ron Rivera's like, we just want to we play pretty good against the Eagles. I don't know if we should need to do that. And it's like, Sweat, gone. Chase Young, gone. And Ron Rivera's, are we trying to win? Are we trying to win games?
Am I getting traded too?
How does this whole thing go? This is a transition era. This is a transition time. New ownership. We all kind of expected it. Good for Chase getting dropped in to a Super Bowl contender all of a sudden. Ownership had a strong hand in the decision to move on from Sweat and from Chase Young, says Diana Rossini. Many in the building wanted to keep them because they believe in this team, but in the end, it's about the future for the Commanders. A lot of people in that building were saying some things, and the ownership was like, you know why I own this team now? Because this place sucks.
Yep.
So I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear what you think. All right, let's go ahead and think about the future. Now, with that being said, great players. The defensive line is like
Strength.
the thing
Oh, yeah.
about the Commanders.
The
So
only-
this is a full punt into the next season. And over the last 24 hours, Josh Harris has traded James Harden, Montez Sweat, and Chase Young.
Yep.
Wow.
Because he owns, obviously. So this guy's like, you know what? I'm fucking rebuilding. That's
it
what we
up.
need to do. Let's go ahead and do that. I think the Commanders' future is bright, potentially, if they find the right guys. But right now, it's very obvious that that's all they're thinking about, D-Bud.
Sucks if you're in that building because everybody's kind of looking over their shoulders at this point, and they're letting it be known, like out front, like, hey, everybody is probably going to be moved on from outside of some core pieces. But yeah, that's some big moves.
Yeah, congratulations to the Commanders thinking about the future, moving on. Now, it's not great for Sam Howell. It's not great for Ron Rivera, who might not even
They've
know
already
any-
paid all of Chase, though, this year, right? I saw the thing where the Niners only have to pay him like $570,000 for the rest of this year.
Yep.
Yep.
And
What a deal for the
declined-
Niners.
They declined his fifth-year option too, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Chase Young will cost the 49ers $561,000 this year.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, I would take that if I was the team.
Yeah, I think so. Congrats to the Niners getting better and being, very, very aggressive.